In section 8, I want to talk about the characteristics, of a good interview. Here we have a free download of our favorite interview questions and our script that we use to conduct interviews. But really, a good interview is a first impression of your company, or a first in-person interview of your company. So you want to set a good impression. Uh, and with all marketing material, again, you want to make sure it's consistent. So you want to make sure that your interview is consistent with the job ad that you posted. And it's really important that we're not making stuff up and, deceiving candidates. Because if you do that and they show up to your company, there's going to be a problem, right? If what you told them is not true, then they're going to be out the door pretty quick. So these are the 5 steps of a really good interview. So the first one's well prepared. Be ready, be on time, have the candidate's resume with them, have your questions ready, do your research on the candidate if you have follow-up questions for them. Be well prepared. The second one is structured. We give the same interview to everybody. We don't think it would be fair and easy for us to make a comparison against 2 candidates if we were to ask them each different questions. You're not getting, again, an apples to apples comparison if you're asking different questions. So kind of have a script, kind of have questions that's your go-to questions. And of course, you can ask follow-up questions, which leads me to two-sided. The interview should be two-sided. It should be, obviously you're asking them questions, but don't let them ask questions about the company, about the role. One of the most common questions we get is, what does a typical day look like? So follow up, have follow-up questions, have good banter, have a conversation. One of the most important things that we look at when, and this is something we didn't create, but just kind of a mental question to ask yourself when interviewing with someone is would you be cool with sitting down with this person on a Friday night and having, a burger and a beer with them? If the answer is no and you wouldn't want to, hang out with them after work, you don't have to be friends with them. But if you wouldn't invite them to sit down with you and have a conversation, then why would you want to deal with that every day at work? So I've been in situations where personally, I would show up and I'd be at my own company and be why? I don't even want to talk to this person. Why is he here? And then I would realize, wait, it's my decision and I can, hire and, build a team of how I want to build a team. So that was kind of the framework. It's hey, would I be cool and want to sit down with this guy and just have a good conversation with them? And again, you don't need to be friends with them, but, you do need to respect each other and, get along with each other. So that's kind of the framework we use. When you're doing an interview too, and step 4 and step 5, I think are pretty closely related, is we're looking at either when we're building our question list or, building, the structure of the interview, we want to ask questions that reply to our company culture. So if you're a company that has core values, maybe you want to design questions that are specific to, those core values and let them answer in a way that will showcase, do they, fall in line with these core values that you have, or maybe they're, the antithesis of it. If that's the case, then, you can get a pretty good idea of will this be a good company culture fit for us? So, and the step 4, all about, do they show up on time? Do they, look professional? Are they walking around in the interview if you do it in recorded? Do they look at you in the eye? Do they shake your hand? All that stuff that is, really difficult to teach is stuff that we're looking for in step 4. And then our just little tip that we recommend to everybody, what we do for ourselves, is we prefer to conduct interviews virtually. This eliminates friction of interviews that, maybe they can't get to, maybe they have a current job and they're just looking to change and, they would have to take a day off or whatever. Now they can do it on their lunch break, from their car on their phone. That's totally fine with us personally. So it eliminates friction by doing it virtually. And then the good thing is we can record them and upload them to, or you can upload them to your database. So that way, it is always beneficial if you have, managers, admin staff, to get other team members involved in the hiring process. And, the more people that you can get to watch an interview and be like, yeah, actually, I do think this would be a good person. The more input you can get, the better candidates that you'll be able to, actually hire. So that's our pro tip, is just we recommend virtually. Also lets you automate a lot of like that interview scheduling stuff using like tools like Calendly or Go High Level if you want to do it that way. Great. So that was pretty much at this point, at like this late stage in the funnel, either you have enough, if you're doing this yourself, you have enough information to probably make a decision of whether you want to hire that person, or you're going to deny them. Maybe they passed all the screening tools, all the screening steps. They went to the interview and they're still not a good fit. When we do this for clients, we actually eliminate more people at this stage than we do previous stages, or than we do recommend people to move forward to, like, say, like, to a client, hey, we think this is a good fit for you. This is a good person. Maybe you should hire them. We deny more people at this stage than we push forward to, being approved to be hired. So those are the key characteristics of a good interview that we found. The last thing I want to leave you with before we tie everything together and before I showcase the full walkthrough is, if you look at, I want to talk about Chick-fil-A. So at least for me personally, and I'm sure if you've ever gone to Chick-fil-A, you're like, wow, how do they have such great employees? How are they all so, like, well-mannered, well-behaved, really professional? At least I think that when I go there, like, wow, what are they doing that attracts such great candidates? And I read this really interesting fact from a franchisee of a Chick-fil-A, and that is, for every open position that Chick-fil-A has, they interview 50 people and will hire one. So 50 interviews to one job offering is what Chick-fil-A does. Do you think that if you interviewed 50 people, you would find one person or multiple people that would stand out compared to everybody else? Yes. Oftentimes, I think we're so rushed to make a decision, make a hire, that we interview maybe 4 or 5 people and, like, okay, good enough. And then we wonder why, oh man, maybe I should have talked to more people. So that would be my challenges to you, is to interview and talk with as many people as possible. Even if you don't have an open job position for someone, what I say at the end of the job interview is, like, if in this case we don't have a need for someone right now, what I would say to the candidate is, great, well, thank you so much, John, for joining me today for this interview. At this point, I have everything that I need to make a decision and to move forward. Currently, I don't have just a job opening like set to start immediately, but I will definitely in the future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep, a note on your account, on your profile, and when we're ready to make a decision, I will message you, and hopefully, we can get you started. That's kind of what we say to a candidate when there is no urgent need to hire someone.